Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the State of the Fandom. I am Neil Fox, the president for life of the furry fandom, and here with me are...
the Prime Minister of the furry fandom.
You remembered this time! Good! And we have a very special guest today for the podcast. We have the Grand Vizier from the Ottoman Empire. Please introduce yourself, Slushy.
Hi, my name is SlushyOtter. I'm a content creator and digital artist, primarily on Twitch and TikTok.
That's awesome. When did you get started with that?
About 6 months ago. I was not planning for it to end up being much, but it's worked out.
It has! Your stuff's adorable.
Wow.
Thank
6
you.
months. That's great. You've grown a ton in 6 months. How big is your TikTok page?
We actually just hit 15K.
Wow.
Oh, awesome.
Hooray! 15K!
Way girls!
That's
Happy
awesome.
Wiggles!
Well, what is your favorite part about being an otter?
I mean, I spend a lot of time in the water anyways. Underwater is my happy place. I grew up swimming a ton and spending a lot of time in lakes, so that plus the free snacks is just... it's a win-win.
Oh, yes.
The
All
free
the
snacks.
The free snacks and all the free food. Otters eat fish.
Oh, yes, of course.
And play with shells.
That's funny.
Not this one. I'm allergic to fish.
Oh, no! An otter allergic to fish? That's terrible. Oh, no.
Oh.
I know, it's rough and tragic.
That's so funny. So, you are a content creator on TikTok. We are content creators on TikTok. What is your favorite?
You are?
Yes. Absolutely. We do all different types of stuff on TikTok. Mine is primarily memes because I am a meme lord. What type of stuff do you like to make? If anyone is listening who doesn't already watch your stuff.
Primarily, I focus on VR chat content on my main account. Anything from skits to really, really bad otter puns to other stuff we're probably not going to mention.
No.
And then I also do have a fursuiting channel as well.
See, conveniently for us, and I don't know how R-rated you're okay with, but conveniently for us, podcasting is one of the few platforms where you can be pretty much as R-rated as you want. It's great.
It is.
This one, he does not like to censor himself at all, and so.
Oh, perfect. I'll fit right in then.
Yes, great. Okay, so yes, you are welcome to talk about your thirst content in as much explicit detail as you like.
I won't go into too much detail, but yeah, it's definitely some thirst content for sure.
I'm just teasing. Yes, TikTok is a very interesting place. It's supposedly for 13 and up, but people post a lot of really on the line, over the line. I've seen real life content, people just in bikinis and stuff, and I'm just
yeah.
how does this fit the content guidelines?
I mean,
Right?
the other day,
And then at the same time, you've got furries being banned for just having an avatar. It's like, really?
Oh, yeah. And then I see some basically naked guy with a towel over his junk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Perfectly acceptable. What?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Hopefully you haven't had to deal too much with false claims on TikTok. We've had a ton of them, of people just oh, well, this is a furry video. I'm going to claim that it has some type of, violent bullying in it. And it's it's a video of
Oh, God.
just absolutely nothing. And it's it's a clearly false thing. And TikTok will, unban it in, 5 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think I saw
Yeah,
a
exactly.
banned video somewhere.
No, the worst I've gotten is a couple sounds banned, but I appealed them and they immediately got put back.
Well, there you go.
The one was funny
Okay.
because in the sound I didn't actually say the word dick, but when they replaced the sound with automatically generated subtitles, they added it. It didn't say it in the sound. It didn't in my captions, but it said it in there.
That's so funny.
That's
Oh
awful.
my god, that's funny. Well, we all love dicks here, as far as I know.
Rawr.
Yes. Excellent. Well, hopefully no more false claims on TikTok for any of us, but considering how many of them I see from other creators, it's probably likely to happen.
Oh, it's a net.
Well,
It's
my beans are crossed.
happen.
Right. Let's see. What would be a good thing that we could do with the otter here? What do you think?
Well, we can talk about the furry fandom and see what improvements creators such as the three of us can do.
Yes.
The original pitch for the whole meeting.
right.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Would you like me to start, or?
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Alright. So there are definitely some improvements I can see being made to the furry fandom, because I've seen a lot of things change, mostly in the last 6 months, that I haven't liked. And a lot of that it has been to do with, we still pride ourselves on being one of the most accepting and welcoming fandoms in existence, but it hasn't really felt that way in the last 6 months. Do you agree, or?
I'm curious to hear. I'm curious to hear your perspective on this. So, what happened in the past 6 months that you're seeing less acceptance than you did before?
So it's not necessarily in places you might expect it to be. I'm not seeing any sort of homophobia or racism, but what I'm seeing a lot of is there's a certain amount of elitism that comes with, say, having full body tracking in VR chat, or a full fursuit rather than a dino mask, and just these massive financial barriers that people who have access to these things seem to believe that that's what makes you a real furry, and I don't like it. That shouldn't be the case. We're supposed to be open and welcoming to everybody, and putting up a financial barrier to that just seems counterintuitive.
Interesting. Yeah, well, and you bring up a really interesting point, because this is something that happened in the Brony fandom as well back in the day. There was something that was talked about quite a bit around the time of 2012, 2013, that it was around 10,000 followers, that if you had more than 10,000 followers, you were like in the in-group. And if you had less than 10,000 followers, it was like, oh yes, I'm not going to deign to talk to you.
Okay.
So I can definitely see that happening with furries, where I have a fursuit that was created by such and such creator, and you have only a dino mask. How could
Exactly.
Yes. Well, what can we do to improve it?
I think the first thing to do is stop that discussion altogether. There should be no financial barrier. I don't care if you have full body tracking. I don't care if you have 3-point. I don't care if you're on desktop.
Right.
I don't care if you have a full fursuit that's made by the most expensive creator out there. I know there's a bunch of budget creators that people with fursuits by those creators get shamed for having, which is absolutely absurd. And then there's just a big stigma around having only a dino mask with maybe some fluff around the ears, and that shouldn't be the case.
Right.
We're all here just to have fun and be a little bit goofy.
Right.
So
I do find that you're hitting on a point that I find to be really interesting, which is that people, in my opinion, oftentimes will go much too serious with things. Like, oh, well, you're not like me. And it's like, well, we're all in the same community together. Like, it's...
Yes, we're all in the same community.
There's...
I just happen to be the incredibly unelected.
Incredibly unelected?
No one elected me to be the Prime Minister of the furry fandom. But, on the other hand...
Well, yes, you were appointed by me.
Yes,
the president of the furry fandom.
Yes,
I was democratically elected. It was I received 110% of the vote.
I gain power through a coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat?
A coup d'etat, yes!
Oh my god. Jesus. That's great.
I'm just the Labrador.
I promise, about half my puns are off the cuff.
That's great.
Love it.
So for somebody who might be interested in doing VR chat content, how do you do yours, and what would you recommend to somebody who's new to it?
So I do mine through OBS, use the stream camera in VR chat itself, connected to OBS, and just record it as a video. You can get free editing programs. I was using CapCut on my iPad for a little bit until I got Premiere Pro. I can talk, I swear. Until I got Premiere Pro. But realistically, if you have VR chat, you have OBS, you have CapCut, these are all free tools that you can be using. It's a little harder with the streaming camera if you're on desktop, but there are ways to work around it. But other than that, it's just talking to other content creators who are already working in the VR chat space, finding out how they're doing specific things that you want to potentially incorporate into your own content.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Interesting. I do not yet have VR chat. I don't have a VR headset, but I'm interested in getting one. That would be really fun.
It would be.
Absolutely. And again, you don't need a VR setup to play VR chat. You can play in desktop mode and just hang out with people. I did that for a while before getting my headset.
That's awesome.
That's what I do. My only thing with VR chat is it's there's so much to it. It's like, now what do I do?
No, you're out. It's a little boring without the VR headset, but I mean, you have the option available.
I mean, I usually run around as a space marine just because I don't have any.
Yeah.
I actually run around as like an 8-foot tall chaos space marine.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Something that's kind of strange that I noticed with VR is I'll actually forget how tall I really am because my otter is 3'3", right? So I'll be trying to reach up and grab something that's on a counter or something. In real life, I used to be 6'5". I am currently 6'1". I will be reaching up to grab something off the counter in VR and smash my hand against the ceiling.
Wait, you used to be 6'5". Now you're 6 foot. How did you lose 4 inches?
So I'm trans, if you didn't already know. And feminizing hormones can have the effect of reducing your height.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that was possible, but okay.
I didn't either until a friend of mine mentioned it, and then we measured, and I'm like, oh, I'm 3 inches shorter.
Well, after a while, she'll just be the height of her otter in VR chat.
Apparently. Your otter's adorable, though, and I want to boob it too.
All the boobs are welcome.
Yes.
I am very much 100% furry. 90% of what I do is just furry language that speaks to furries.
Yes.
100%.
You brought up a really good point that VR chat can be a little bit intimidating for people who are new to it. Of like, there's so many different worlds, and you see people on whether it's TikTok, YouTube, having a lot of fun, and you're like, how do I do that? So what when you mentioned a couple of different ideas of like talking to different content creators, what would be some other good ways for people to start in terms of maybe worlds they could start with, or furry friendly spaces that they could go to,
or just how to navigate to begin with?
So my biggest advice is find a friend who knows what they're doing and follow them around for a little bit. Do not join public worlds. That will end poorly.
I have seen many memes about the toothbrushes attacking furries.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't go well.
No.
So stick to private worlds, stick to a small friend group to start and branch out from there. Find an avatar that you're comfortable with, potentially make your own or find someone who will make you one, and go from there. And as you get more comfortable, branch off, go explore different worlds. You can always, there's a long list of worlds every time you open up the game that are recommended to you, and they change constantly. You can save the ones you like, go find lots. You can always open up a private instance of any of them, so you can just be in there by yourself or whoever you bring with you. Oh. So you're never at risk of running into somebody you don't want to potentially run into.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Okay. Yes, the toothbrushes, you may have seen them on TikTok, I assume. It's the green guy with, like, the weird hair coming out either side.
Oh, that thing.
Yes, it's one of the free avatars with the quest, and so the questies, quote-unquote, oftentimes use that avatar.
I see. I'm just trying to get comfortable here.
Yeah, the toothbrushes. We all live in horror of the toothbrush invasion.
Oh, God, no! Interesting. But yes. So how did you become a furry in the first place, and how long have you been a furry?
I don't actually really know how to answer that question because I'm not exactly sure when I crossed the threshold. I knew I hung out on the edges and the outskirts of the fandom for a really long time with things like Warrior Cats books and Wings of Fire and different roleplay forums and stuff like that. At some point, I started jumping into the Discord servers of different furries and just lurking for a bit, and eventually came up with a character of my own, and from there I was in the thick of it and just decided, sure, let's start making content. Actually, my TikTok started off as a way for me to just put my artwork up, but those weren't getting any views, so I switched to furry content.
I see.
That's awesome.
Now, which furry servers are you in? On, like, Discord?
On Discord, that is a long list. Mostly the servers of other content creators that I'm close with. A couple of servers designed for collaboration between content creators.
Oh,
that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. I know we share one.
Good.
Which one?
Let's see.
It says right at the top of the screen. You're called Sweet Boy in it.
Sweet Boy.
I am? Oh.
Yep.
The wolf shelter.
Yes.
I actually know the guy who runs it. I remember now.
I do too. They don't live far from me, oddly enough.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's always funny when you meet somebody online and then maybe you learn the city where they're from, and it's like, oh my god, they're actually
so
close. Oh my god. Because it seems like so often you meet somebody cool and they're from like Russia or Australia or something, and it's like, I would love to visit this person, but they are
absolutely
literally on the opposite side of the planet.
Oh, that's sad.
Yes.
Funnily enough, so the first furry that I followed on TikTok was Azu Azula.
Oh.
They and I are really good friends now. And they live within like a 4-hour drive of me.
Is that one of the owl people? One of the owl ones?
Pardon? No. They are a bright blue husky.
Oh, cute!
Adorable.
Right? But yeah, so that was the first friend that I ever made online and then met in person.
Oh,
that's
adorable!
Awesome. I love when that happens, especially hearing people's stories about it of like, I met this person online and then we got to meet at a convention.
Yeah, I've actually never been to a con yet.
I've been to a whole bunch, and this one's been to
Hundreds.
pretty much all of them. People know this one.
Yes. Well, the reason why is because I ran a company called Artwork Tea for a while, and so I went to a lot of conventions, both brony and furry conventions all over the world, including the UK and Germany.
Yes. I haven't been to the UK or Germany. I have been to Ireland, but not for furry stuff.
I've technically been to Ireland. I don't remember it.
So what is your first convention that you think you might attend?
I was really, really hoping to hit furry this summer, but I don't think that's going to happen. Might potentially look at Vancouver next winter. but
Vancouver.
I've got a couple friends who want to drag me down to the States for Midwest Fur Fest.
Yes, Midwest Fur Fest is awesome. Me personally, as a person who's been to many, many, many dozens of conventions, I would not recommend it as your first convention just because it is so big.
Good to know.
Yeah, to be fair,
That was like my second con.
as a content creator, you won't have the trouble that most people do at a large convention of just getting lost in the crowd. It's ironically enough, it's a lot easier to like find a small group of friends at your first convention if it's a small convention. But to be fair, you won't have that problem. You know, if you have like a picture of your avatar on your badge or something like that, you'll just have people coming up to you like, "Oh, I love your TikToks. Oh, wow."
That's what happened to you at MFF.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Or Indie FurCon. IFC.
The first time you haven't been to a con, so you may not have experienced this yet. But the first time that somebody comes up to you and is like, "Oh my God, I love your stuff. Can I get an autograph?" You're just like, "Oh God, oh God."
Oddly enough, I have experienced it.
Tell the story.
It happens a lot in VR chat, first off, because they recognize the avatar immediately.
Got it.
So they run up to you. It doesn't matter if you're in, like... So I have occasionally wandered into public worlds. It's very rare, but I do get recognized there. Or I'll be hanging out with somebody, and somebody joins the world, and they're like, "Oh my God, Slushy's here!" I still don't think of myself as somebody worth that amount of recognition. I'm still coming to grips that people, want a picture with me or want an autograph. It's also happened to me in real life. Like, it's happened to me just walking around town here, and I live in a small town.
What?
It's happened to me at work. Yeah, it's strange, but my face is on my TikTok if you go back far enough.
That is so cool. I mean, this is something that I've heard. I've heard various discourses about it, but I find it really interesting that with most fandoms, whether it's, you could look at any major fandom like Marvel or The Walking Dead or something like that. People are fans of whether it's the actors or like the people who work on the show, something like that. With furry, it is one of the few that there's no like centralized, yes, this person was the actor on such and such. You could have a furry convention with 2,000 attendees, and like their most famous, quote unquote, their most famous guest has like 5,000 followers on Twitter, and it's like, that's great.
Yeah, it's a very strange... It's different than all those other fandoms you mentioned. And it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Because it also means that, like, no matter what kind of humor or content you're into, there's going to be somebody there for you, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're not stuck in one place. There's furries who like all types of different things.
Exactly. My girlfriend and I actually had a discussion about this the other day. We were talking about the different niches that we tend to fill, and she claims that I'm like solely in the cute category. No matter what I'm doing, doesn't matter if I'm doing bad puns, doesn't matter if I'm doing thirst content, I still just fall into, it's cute otter. And she likes to claim that she does not fall into that.
Her perspective may be slightly biased. That
yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit,
But yeah, so whereas she tends to have more serious discussions, when she does discussion videos, she tends to have darker themed content.
Mm-hmm. Definitely make sure that for anyone who is not familiar with your content, of course we'll put a link to your stuff in the description of the episode. But I do not know your girlfriend's link, so definitely send that to us as well, and you can tell the audience on stream how to find you and her.
Yes!
Absolutely.
Oh, what did I miss?
Would you like me to plug that right now, or?
Yes, plug away.
Okay. I'm sorry, I've never done this before.
You've never been interviewed before?
No, never.
Well, one of the principles of interview is one of the principles of being interviewed is make sure that you plug your stuff.
Yes!
I don't want to be rude. I'm sorry.
Not at all. Not at all. Yes, if you have a book to sell or anything, I'm just kidding.
If you have a book,
I've got
artwork,
lots of merch on Redbubble. Don't worry.
Oh, of course. We should definitely get some of her merch. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, myself, on TikTok, I am at SlushyOtter, and on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/SlushyOtter. My girlfriend is Lady Ice Dragoness on TikTok, and I believe just rebranded the Twitch to Ice Dragoness. I believe she dropped the lady, but I'm going to double check that.
Lady Ice Dragoness.
Yes.
How regal.
Right? Oh yeah, she's the queen, 100%.
The queen. I
oh
see.
no!
You know,
Yep, just
this-
Ice Dragoness on Twitch.
That's awesome. Well, and I'm going to guess, just based on your story, that you probably met this person through TikTok and Twitch and all of that. Am I correct on that?
You are absolutely correct on that, yes.
Yes, that's awesome.
There you go.
Because, like, for me and the Labrador, I actually met him because I do furry meetups at my house in Indianapolis. And
That's so cool.
he came over to one of the meets. We just hit it off, and a few months later, he moved in.
Yes. And
That's
it's
so
been quite the
cool.
ride ever
Yeah,
since.
Yes.
There's no fur meets in my area. I only know of one other furry in town.
Well, you should do a fur meet, and it can just be you and the one other furry. No, I'm just kidding. That's
We did it on VR chat.
there you go.
We didn't feel like leaving our apartment.
There you go. There you go. Wait. Let me see if I got this correct. You met the only other furry in your town on VR chat.
Yes.
That's awesome.
To be fair, like, I work with and I'm friends with some of their family members. So that's how we actually connected.
Okay.
Oh, that's so cute. What's their surname?
Generic carnivore. Give me a sec. Let me see if I
Generic
can
what?
figure it out.
Generic carnivore.
Generic carnivore. Give me a sec. I'll see if I can figure it out a little bit more specifically.
Oh, okay.
Sounds good.
If I had to guess, I'd say fox.
Fair enough.
Fairly common, fairly floofy, and they get boobs on Snoop.
Yes, they do.
I've been booped.
Boop, 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 boop.
Sometimes it's hard to tell in VR chat, especially with custom models.
Fair enough. I've seen like foxes with like otter avatars, and it's like their fox. It's all the coloration and everything, but it's an otter. It's like, this is so confusing.
I mean, my girlfriend has an otter with dragon wings and horns.
Yes, that's awesome.
That would make me a little... my main son is a Labrador, and I also have the cute little adorable fox.
Yes. Good.
Yeah, we used her otter sona to start a series of TikTok videos where I turn people into otters. We call it Spreading the Pathot Gen.
Yes.
The Pathwogen? What is it? The
Pathogen.
The Pathwogen.
You're thinking of the Pathogen, but we started a new pandemic called the Pathot Gen.
Pathogen. Oh. Well, it sounds to me like what we should do is we should make otter avatars on VR chat, and then we should get turned into otters. That would be really fun.
Yeah, I'll get you guys some ottails from Clubot.
Yes.
Do a nice magical girl transformation sequence for you.
Yes, that would be amazing. He's biting me now. That means yes.
I love it.
He speaks mostly in Labrador.
Yes.
You're such furries.
It's true. It's true.
I basically grew up with doggos, and I was actually just home recently, and the dog was begging for food, the cat was begging for food.
And you were begging for food.
And I was begging for food.
Yes.
It was very funny seeing a cat beg for food. I've never seen that happen before.
My guess is that the cat learned it from the dog, but I don't know.
I also grew up with a Labrador in the house. But primarily, and this was the inspiration for the sauna, I grew up near my family cabin. There was a bunch of North American river otters that lived in the lake that I would go play with.
That's awesome!
So I found out something fun about them when I was growing up.
What?
To show affection, they will softly nom your hand.
Oh, that's so cute!
I didn't know otters did that. That's awesome.
It's absolutely adorable.
Adorable. Did you get to see baby ones?
Yeah, all the time.
Yes! My
That's
fox
awesome.
boy over here got to see baby foxes when he was in Arkansas.
Oh yes, my grandparents, they had a little family of gray foxes under their porch, and they were so cute. I'll have to send you the link. I posted a TikTok about them, but they had 5 little baby foxes. They're so cute.
Please, yes, absolutely send me that link.
Well, it has been around 30 minutes, so we will keep talking the ears off of our fans in other episodes, but we will go ahead and outro the episode. So my name is Neil Fox, as always, the president for life of the furry fandom.
I am Link the Labrador, the Grand
Vizier? No, that was the otter. The otter.
I am the Grand Prime Minister of the fur.
And due to that mistake, I am promoting myself to Grand Empress of the Otterman Empire.
Yes, absolutely. Breaking news, we have the new Empress of the Ottoman Empire. What is your first decree?
Everyone is to be infected with the pathogen.
Yeah!